part of me that does in fact appreciate the hard work of Caitlyn Clark. She is trying to legitimize female sports. She's not doing any of the nefarious underhanded tactics that any of her other counterparts would. She's not, flaunting her assets as a means to raise her profile. She's not denigrating any group of people. She's just simply shutting up and dribble and letting her actions on the court dictate her popularity, which has got her to a point. And this is an ESPN poll, okay? It's ESPN data. Take it for what you will. Don't really care about the validity of it, but they're trying to say that she is the fourth most prominent, most favorited active athlete behind only LeBron James, Tiger Woods, and Steph Curry. I don't know what that means, nor do I really care what that means. But Caitlin Collins, I'm sorry, not Caitlin Collins. Imagine that's somebody else. It's probably some girl in the Midwest somewhere. But Caitlyn Clark is actually doing it the right way. I got nothing bad to say about her, other than the fact that she plays in the WNBA, and that's a laughable league, and she'd be better off plying her trade somewhere else. She's doing the best she can with what she has, and not making a boob out of herself. Because it's very rare. It's very rare that you get a female athlete achieve the level of success and notoriety that Clark has, goes about it in legitimate ways. It's like, when it comes to basketball, probably Brittany Griner was the last person to even just register in the public consciousness, but that was for very different reasons, and she also has a bunch of other unsavory aspects about her notoriety. But who else was out there? Ronda Rousey, maybe? It was a different discipline, but she was very popular. She was also quite divisive. But somebody else who did achieve that level of fame, okay, in the same forum that Ronda Rousey did, realm of mixed martial arts, was Paige VanZant. Paige VanZant was a cute little girl who could throw some kicks. She had some actual legitimate martial arts training under her belt, and yeah, she was in the UFC for a fair while. And they definitely had her earmarked for success. They using her as promotional images for very obvious reasons. And then, well, she eventually flamed out. Oh, well, stuff happens. UFC also had, oh my God, some, pretty boy that was on there. They really tried to make him a thing around the same time that CM Punk was, trying his hand at mixed martial arts. But that didn't end up working out all that well. Well, none of these examples ended up working out all that well. So that's why trying to find a comparison between Caitlyn Clark and literally any other female athlete, it's just very difficult to do. That's probably why there's also such universal support for Caitlyn Clark, and then there's just the obvious holes that you can poke in all of these other examples. But Paige VanZant, even though she's under an AEW contract, so she would, instead of learning how to work slaps, she's going to be potentially put on Dream Street this Friday at a Power Slap event. Like, what the hell, man? I like Power Slap. I think that shit is hilarious. I just didn't think that you'd have the former notable individual like Paige VanZant enter that forum. That's interesting. But Joe Rogan also thinks that it's a very stupid endeavor because, yeah, there have been some crossover stars in mixed martial arts to professional wrestling where, yeah, she contracted, okay? I don't know why she hasn't done anything else because, yeah, she's still marketable for very obvious reasons. I don't think Power Slap is going to pay nearly as well as the seemingly bottomless pockets of the Tony Khan family, but okay. But Joe Rogan thinks Paige VanZant should reconsider her decision to compete in Power Slap. Don't do it, Paige, the UFC commentator said in a podcast June 22nd. Unless she makes a deal where she says, I get to slap first. Can you do that? Can you say, I'll fight you, but I get to slap first? Yeah, exactly, because this is real, guys, okay? This is a shoot, brother. And at those events, people get sparked all the time. But yes, VanZant fought for the UFC 9 times between 2014 and 2020. Yeah, one of the promotion's biggest stars for much of that time, but after losing 3 of her last 5 fights in the octagon, set off into free agency. Yeah, go ahead, ply your trade somewhere else, get a few wins under your belt, and we'll more than be willing to bring you back. Because nothing's more approachable than a 20-something-year-old on a redemption tour looking like you. Yeah, it'd be easy sell, right? Her first stop after the octagon was bare knuckle fighting championships, which bare knuckle fighting, honestly, it gets a bad rap. Pun not intended, but there's real value in just, if people are going to be scrapping, not having gloves, there's fewer broken hands. It's more exciting to watch, okay? Like, we could get into that at a later date, but bare knuckle fighting, it's kind of like how stupid as John McCain, rest in piss, referred to the old UFC, old mixed martial arts as human cockfighting. God, hopefully he's doing that against some mythical creature in hell right now. traitorous neocon. At the time, she was the biggest signing in the promotion's history, but she came up on a short both times when she stepped into the ring, losing a decision to Britton's Hart. Oh, to Britton Hart? That's a chick's name, huh? And Rachel Ostovich. Sure. After nearly 3 years out of the combat sports competition, VanZant finally returned to action in May, taking on adult film performer Elle Brooke in a boxing match. Okay, cool. So basically a creator clash boxing effort. Despite being dropped by Brooke in the first round, oh my god, she had a paper chin. VanZant was able to rally to a split draw. Cool. And news of her deal with Power Slap came soon after the draw with Brooke. Power Slap is brainchild of, yes, Dana White. You stand across from one another and you allow another person to line up 3 different times to, check your chin. It's really funny. But it's kind of one of those things where nobody ever thought that it was really going to take off. And I'm kind of surprised that it is still going right now, because it's one of those things where if you go down a rabbit hole for like an evening, it's like you'll get some real funny reactions, but it's just the setup time, just the lack of action. It's not terribly interesting to watch. I like it, but it's not something I'm going to watch all the time. It has already been sanctioned in multiple states, despite the fact that there's an obvious risk of serious brain injury, yes, for anybody participating. Despite working for the UFC and having close friendships with White, Rogan is clearly not a fan of the fringe sport, and he acknowledged has been around forever in markets like Russia. So yeah, it's never been legitimized in the way that White has been able to do it. Now, what are we doing here? The UFC commentator said it's free brain damage. Like, why? You can hit someone so hard with a slap. Yes, exactly. Everyone thinks of a slap as a palm to the face. And that's not what's happening. You're getting palm struck to the face, full blast from a swing. How did this get sanctioned? Well, it's not, because there are rules against clubbing, like using, the palm of your hand to smack somebody across the face. But no, it's supposed to be open-handed, fingers slightly apart. But yeah, you want to connect with the cheekbone, but then also make a good solid contact on the face. Yeah, no, it is free brain damage, because you have to stand with your hands behind your back and you have to take it in order to, give it as well as you get. Why would anybody who's just not desperate or figured out they had a propensity for slapping and taking shots to the face, why would you ever sign up for something like this? Oh, it's because, Paige, as alongside being signed to AEW, I think at this point, is she there? She got to deal with bare knuckle fighting. Okay, got to deal with AEW. Now she got this deal with Power Slap. So yeah, she's taking shots to the face. She's getting slapped. And oh yeah, she's also one of the most successful OnlyFans content creators. This is why people, on top of so many other things, like a diminished competitive pool, a clearly inferior product, it's just these chicks don't even take themselves seriously, so why should we take their sport seriously? Paige VanZant putting OnlyFans first with fighting just a hobby for right now. So yeah, I'm going to go get sparked out over the weekend just so I can put slap happy pictures on my OnlyFans. Like, what are we doing? Paige VanZant has a new money-making venture to sink her teeth into, and it's going to be nowhere near as lucrative as her career as the thirst-trapping content creator. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what numbers she has. I thought this was a joke because it was a part of one of Chris Jericho's funniest promos in AEW, making fun of a theoretical OnlyFans, which I didn't know was an actual OnlyFans. Jesus. I just signed a contract, and whether people like it or not, I'm doing Power Slap, VanZant said in a video posted to her Instagram account, which is, sales funnel, so you can get other provocative pictures like this, I guess. Power Slap, the highly controversial slap fighting organization. It's not really controversial in so much as I don't think people really talk about it all that much. VanZant has fought, the UFC, BKFC, conventional boxing, and now slap fighting. And she adds that it's no longer a full-time job, more of a hobby. Well, yeah, of course, it doesn't pay nearly as much, and it's not as an easy way to make money as, just taking off all of your clothes and having your cuck boyfriend or fiance, husband, who even knows at this point in time, because if your wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever does OnlyFans, she's not your wife, fiance, girlfriend, or whatever. She's the community's property. Stop it. Fighting. I have to understand now. It's just a hobby. It's just a part-time job. I have to realize that OnlyFans is what's providing everything for me. Jesus. There's a lot of things I would do to provide and support my family, except for take a legitimate job, hone your skills to become a better fighter. No, there's a lot of things that I would do, but I would just rather take off all of my clothes and do shower selfies. I would, kill for my family. This is much less than that. Well, yeah, of course we can see because you're smiling, flexing, and showing your ass. Like, come on, man. VanZant has become a social media star outside of OnlyFans as well, snatching up 3.1 million followers on Instagram, which she gained a lion's share of back when she was the face of the UFC. Come on, man. As she constantly teases her risque paywall content. That's what Instagram is, man. It's a sales funnel to other off-platform endeavors. Her actual fighting career appears to be nearing an end with a whimper, though, as they seemingly all do. Oh, that's tough because, yeah, okay, cool. You have, what, 3 contracts under your belt? But what's the merchandise that you're wearing? Exactly. She ended her UFC going 2-3. Boxing concludes 0-2-1. VanZant is a 225 favorite in the boxing bout that ended up going to a split decision. And yeah, she will fight on Power Slap this Friday, June 28th, which I'll be interested. Probably be like a lot of people that are going to be out there. I'm just, it'll be very interesting to see what ultimately ends up happening. But I guess if you want a little bit of a preview as to what to expect on Friday, I'd imagine there's probably some other slapping behind a paywall, but don't sign up for that. That's super haram. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.